What's good, y'all? I'm recording this video right now at halftime of the Knicks-Wizards game. I was watching that game, and then a notification dropped down at the top of my phone. Shams Charania reported that James Harden got traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Darius Garland and a second-round pick. I know they had reports the night before that James Harden and the Clippers were working together on finding a new home for him, so I was kind of mentally prepared for this. But now that it's happened and it's concrete and a real thing, still kind of blows my mind that James Harden is on the move yet again. Before we get into the full breakdown of this trade from both teams' perspectives, I do want to remind you guys to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. I just put out a video on the Jaren Jackson Jr. trade, and I'm also going to be putting out a trade deadline special on Thursday after the trade deadline, recapping all of the trades that happened Thursday, Wednesday, the ones that happened today that I didn't put a video out, like Vucevic and the Jaden Ivey trade. All of that stuff will be there Thursday, so make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. But enough of that stuff, let's get into the actual trade. And you guys know that I like to start by talking about the team that got the best player in the trade. And honestly, in this one, I think it could definitely be debated who's the best player right now, currently, James Harden or Darius Garland. I'm going to lean a little bit towards James Harden, so I'm going to start by talking about the Cavs. And that's kind of where I want to start with this conversation. Both of these players, James Harden and Darius Garland, are very similar in the fact that they are your primary point guard and ball handler. They are great playmakers. They can create their own shot off the dribble. They do have a few different differences, though. For example, James Harden is one of the best lob throwers the game has ever seen. Darius Garland can throw a lob. He's a great passer and everything. But James Harden is something completely different. He's made a career out of just the pick and roll and throwing those lobs. And now to think his pick and roll partners are going to be Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. Those are two amazing lob threats and pick and roll partners, and at least one of them is going to be on the court at all times with James Harden, I would assume. So that's going to be a great two-man just in that aspect right there. And James Harden is also going to be able to relieve Donovan Mitchell of some of the load that he has to burden of the creation on this team, especially because Darius Garland has really struggled with health for the last few seasons now. Unfortunately, between the regular season and the postseason, he normally misses some time. So that leaves Donovan Mitchell, especially on this team this year, being one of the sole creators on the entire roster. As I was just saying before, James Harden is definitely able to create not only his own shot, but shots and offense for other players as well. That's also a big reason why I think they made the Dennis Schroeder trade. I have a video breaking down that whole trade if you guys want to watch that after this one. But in that trade video, I did mention them bringing in Dennis Schroeder, kind of committed to having small guards on the court at all times between Donovan Mitchell, Dennis Schroeder, and Darius Garland. All three of those guys are like 6'1", 6'2", maybe if you stretch it. That would be just a lot of small guard play. Now they swap out Darius Garland, who's 6'1", for James Harden, who's 6'5". And he's not only just 6'5", though, but he is a pretty burly 6'5". I think that alone is going to make them marginally better defensively, just in the aspect that you can't hunt James Harden defensively as easy as you can Darius Garland. I don't want to make it seem like I think James Harden is some lockdown defender or anything, but obviously there's a big difference between 6'1", like 190, and 6'5", like 215, 220, maybe even James Harden. I might be underselling it for him. And obviously the big downside, if you want to look at it like that, for the Cavs in this trade is they get much older. James Harden is 36 years old. Darius Garland was 26 years old, so it's a big 10-year difference they're getting right now. And I think that definitely shrinks their window just slightly. Obviously, you still have Evan Mobley, who's young. Donovan Mitchell and Jarrett Allen aren't old players by any means. So it doesn't completely give them a few years or anything like that. But compared to when they had Darius Garland, who was younger and everything, even though that core wasn't looking like it was going to stay together for the extended future, I do think that this kind of just shrinks their window a little bit. But at that same time, it also raises their ceiling. And this is essentially a one-for-one trade. I know I did mention the Cavs included a second-round pick in this one. But, how much does that really mean? Anything? Not really much. I do think it's very good value for the Cavs. If I had to give them a grade for this trade, I'm going to give them a A-. Just the fact that both of these players are so similar in talent level, when you just talk about who can help you win right now this year, I do think that essentially you get a healthier, bigger Darius Garland in a lot of aspects, so I really do like this trade for the Cavs. Now to look at things from the Clippers' perspective, like I mentioned, before this trade actually happened, there were reports saying that James Harden was looking to leave the Clippers for whatever reason. I don't really know exactly why James Harden would want to leave his hometown city. I know they started off really, really bad, but as of recent, they have looked like a really good team. I don't know if it was just that they're too deep in a hole for James Harden to really feel confident about their chances. I don't really know, and if I were to keep going on about that, that's just kind of speculation. Whatever the reason was, though, it was obvious James Harden did not want to stay with the Clippers. And honestly, we've seen teams get backed into a corner like this and have to trade a disgruntled James Harden, and we've seen packages that are way worse than this. I think kind of for the whole context of the situation, they have to trade James Harden. Getting back a 26-year-old Darius Garland, I think, is pretty good value for the Clippers. Again, it's a 10-year difference between Darius Garland and James Harden, and Darius Garland has still already been a two-time All-Star and is a All-Star caliber player. It could have been way, way worse when you talk about teams knowing James Harden doesn't want to be there. We all know if James Harden doesn't want to be on your team, he will find his way out. So again, the fact that they're able to net a player of Darius Garland's value, I think that's incredible work by them. And I think he does a few things for the Clippers. He can help them win right now with Kawhi Leonard, because we all know that is their aspirations for this season between them. And I definitely think that as a ball handler, creator, playmaker, a guy that can knock down a three-point shot, there's a lot to like about Darius Garland. Also, beyond just this year and the fit with Kawhi Leonard, like I've been mentioning throughout this whole video, he is way, way, way younger than James Harden, so it gives them more avenues to continue on this post-Kawhi chapter, because we all know sooner or later it's going to come to an end. The biggest issue in this trade for the Clippers, though, I definitely think is the health factor. Pairing a guy like Darius Garland, who's had his own health issues, with a guy like Kawhi Leonard, who has definitely had his own health issues, I don't really love that aspect of it, banking on both of your injury-prone guys to be healthy at one time during the playoffs. That kind of does scare me a little bit. But again, the talent is there for Darius Garland. I don't think that the league should give up on him or anything because he's been hurt the last few seasons. I definitely think he is a all-star caliber player and could definitely return to the all-star team. This is just a really out-of-the-blue type of situation right here where I do think it's a win-win situation for both of these teams for different reasons. If I had to give a grade for the Clippers on this one, I'm giving them an A. So by my grading system, the Clippers barely grade a little bit higher than the Cavs in this trade. I'm interested to see what you guys think, though. Let me know in the comments below, who do you think won this trade and what would the grades be for each team? Like I mentioned, I'm going to be dropping a video recapping all of these trades on Thursday after the trade deadline. If you want to know my thoughts about the DeAndre Hunter trade, that's on my channel right now. My thoughts on the Jaren Jackson Jr. trade, that's on my channel right now. Anything else will be included in that Thursday video, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. In the description, there's links to all my social medias, so make sure you follow me on all those to keep up to date with me. Catch ya.